The opposition NDC has rejected the Electoral Commission's assessment of the 2020 polls. The commission says the exercise was the most successful, peaceful, successful and seamless election in the history of the Fourth Republic. The 2020 polls had results in a number of constituencies disputed, while the presidential election results also required judicial pronouncement to resolve a dispute over the outcome. The death of 5 persons has also been mentioned by election observers as a blot on the nation's image as a beacon of democracy. Dr. Ibn Chambers, who is the immediate past chairman of the United Nations Office for West Africa, is concerned about this. There's more in the following report.
The domestic election observers will in the next 72 hours hold meetings with political party and government representatives, EC officials and experts to assess the 2020 polls. Immediate past chairman of the United Nations Office for West Africa, Dr. Ibn Chambers, who delivered the opening address, had concerns regarding the deaths that occurred during the polls.
I think this time our image has been tainted in that regard, and it should be of concern to us. One person's life is one person too many to be lost in an election, and that reminds me of former President Goodluck Jonathan of Nigeria, who I think today can be proud for all the criticisms that he may have had while he was in office. That one statement that he made, that a single drop of any Nigerian is not worth his ambition to be president. I think this is something that should inspire all of us in Ghana to ensure that never again will we see any loss of life from elections. And so let's go back to the good practice in the past, where whatever shortcomings there may be with the process, the one thing that would not happen would be any killings around the electoral process.
Cordell agrees with this view.
So that for us, unfortunately, was more violent than previous ones, even though it had lesser incidents. So yes, we had the provisional register. We did the
Director of Training at the EC, Michael Buedu, has been explaining why the commission nonetheless managed the election effectively.
The ballot papers, BVDs and voter registers were sent to the district 2 weeks before the conduct of the election, as against the past, where these materials sometimes reach their destinations a day to the election. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, from the foregoing, one can safely conclude that the 2020 presidential parliamentary elections was the most successful, well-coordinated, efficient, seamless, and the most peaceful election organized in the Fourth Republic of Ghana. As an election management body, we are not resting on our oars, but we are committed to improving on our service delivery to the good people of Ghana.
The opposition NDC says the EC must stop heaping praises and focus on fixing challenges.
And then they took upon themselves the need to say they were going to form a new register in the COVID season. What was the sum total of all these? Blatant mistakes were made. One is the disenfranchisement of people in the South region. A day before the election, you decide they cannot vote in presidential and parliamentary elections. That actually, on its own, is enough for you to say this was not a free and fair election. Because once you disenfranchise a set of people from the box, it's never happened since '92 that I'm aware of, where people in that number and consistent, really clear group of people have not been allowed to vote. So the language of the EC, we believe, should not be vitriolic. It should be more of we did our best under the circumstances. We know there are changes and things we need to do, and therefore we will go along with that.
The MP, Peter McMahon, believes the EC's assessment is accurate, but there is room for improvement.
Yes, I agree with them. But like any human endeavor, there's room for improvement. Because you do the comparison between 2020 and 2016, and you could see that there have been major improvements. Nevertheless, there's still room for improvement, and I like to see every election being a better one than the previous one.
A paper summarizing the concerns raised at the forum is to be published at the end.